So once you log in as a therapist, and you log in through the link app.dr-julian.com/admin, you type in your therapist email address that you are registered with and the password that you are registered with. You then click sign in. You will then receive this page. On the personal info page, you will be able to see your basic information, which you will need to set up. To set this up, you need to click on Profile. Here you can upload a picture of yourself by clicking Upload Avatar, checking your basic information if this is filled out for you. Under Specialization, you need to start off by clicking Therapist ... This represents the middle £60 level. Therapist ... represents the £45 level, and Senior Therapist represents the £100 third level. But to start off with, we would recommend the Therapist ... level, unless you have been told otherwise where you should be starting. To add issue types that you can help with, you click on Select Issue Types, and then click on the ones that you would like to do. You then, if you need to remove one, you can click on the X button to remove any of those issues, which will then go back into that list. This is the same for clicking therapy types that you can do, and then removing them is the same as well. As well as with languages, you click on the languages box and click which languages you can speak. Again, the same with appointment types. You click on the drop down arrow, and you have the choice of video, audio and text. So if I was to remove voice, I could then re-click voice. This biography here is the biography that will show up on the iPhone app, and should be your full biography. This is different to the short biography here and this biography here, which is showing up on the web app. Your short biography should be a few lines to entice the patient on the web app, and your biography here should then be your full biography, matching this biography for the web app. Again, you need to put in your qualifications here and your professional memberships, and then click Update, which we will then be notified about to confirm. To change your password, click on the Change Password button, type in the password you are registered with, and then type in your new password and click Change. The Messages tab also can show up any messages that have been sent. Under your Patients tab, you will see any patients that have booked with you. For instance, these are all test patients, but if I clicked on one patient here, I could see this patient's GP details, as they would need to register with that, and if they haven't put these details in, and they've booked an appointment with you, I would make sure that you email them to ask them to complete their profile. We'd also ask you all to message your patient the first time they book with you to develop a rapport with them, remind them to undertake any assessments you need to take, make sure you check the details such as their email address and phone number and GP details, and just make sure that they're comfortable with your appointment time, so you've got a bit of a rapport there, and so that we make sure that they turn up for that appointment. Under the patient's appointments, you will see any upcoming or past appointments that this particular patient has had, and under the Health History tab, you'll be able to see any previous notes that this patient has had written about them, and you do that by clicking the drop down arrow here, and you can have a read through that. Under the Assessments tab, you will see any assessments that patient has undertaken. So if I find a patient that has done some assessments, you will see that an assessment shows up on the date that they have undertaken it and the score. So if your patient has not undertaken an assessment, and needed to, you can see by clicking on that patient, clicking on assessments, and finding out what assessments that patient has taken. And if they need to take any more, make sure you email them before the session to take those assessments. If you click on the assessment, it gives you the drop down of what the answer is to each question. So that's the Patients tab. Under the Appointments tab, it will show any upcoming or past appointments that you have with any patient, and it will list all the different patients that you have. Obviously, past is in the past, and upcoming would be any future appointments. To schedule a time slot, you would need to click on the Schedule tab. If you're scheduling for the same day, then I would go into Week View, or even Day View to get the timings. But if it's not for the same day, then you could just click on the box, click a start time. For instance, I want to do one at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Make sure it's 60 minutes. If you want that slot to repeat, if you click every day, it will repeat for the next 7 days. If you click every week, it will repeat for the next 4 weeks. And you can create slot. That will then show up here. And this will then allow patients to book with you on the patient's side. If you want to remove this time slot, you can click on the slot and click Remove Appointment, which will then remove that appointment for you. If you click again, I want to schedule a slot for today at 11. So I want an 11 appointment. I want to create a slot. Once the slot has been scheduled, the patient needs to book with you. Once the patient has booked with you, it will then appear as green, and you will then need to confirm this appointment. When this appointment is orange, you need to click on it, and then you need to click. There will be a button here that says confirm, and then that's how you confirm your appointment. When this appointment then becomes green, when at the appointment time of your appointment that has been confirmed, you then need to click on this appointment, and there will be a button here that says Start Appointment. Once you click Start Appointment, you will be entered into the video room to do your appointment. This is how you are able to phone your patient. For this to work, your patient needs to be logged in on the patient's side, and they will receive a pop-up notification. And if you want to watch the patient's side video, you will see how that works. Now, the pop-up video that the patient receives will be will ask them to please enter the room that you are phoning them. If this doesn't go through straight away, or the patient doesn't come through, then what I would do is re-click on this appointment slot and click Start Call again. So hang up the call and start it again. We would ask you to try that 3 or 4 times, leaving 20 seconds in between to keep phoning back. But if you aren't getting through, then I would send the client a Zoom link by email them, and also give them a ring just to say, are you having any problems? So you could always, we use Zoom as the first backup, and if this isn't working, then just phone them and do a telephone appointment as a last case, for instance, if the internet isn't working. You have your terms and conditions here, and you have your contact administration if you want to write anything to us, or just use the email address info@dr-julian.com. Here, as a patient, if I want to book with you, I will show you how this works. I can click this therapist that I want to book with. I can click on the time slot. I can click Proceed to Booking Basket. I can click, as a patient, I can write some information here about what I want to do, and I can click I want a video appointment. I can then click Confirm. This appointment has now been provisionally booked, and you'll see it's orange for the patient. On your side, if we go back to the Schedules tab, you'll see it's now become orange. You will receive an email, and the patient will receive an email once confirming, so make sure that your email is set up on your phone for easy access to know when this has happened, when someone has booked with you. They can book with you up to 15 minutes beforehand currently. So you can see that this patient, where this patient has come from, their email address, and that they have come from IAPT test tenancy. So this will tell you where they have come from. So for instance, if it's an inclusion tenancy, i.e. the different NHS trusts we work with, or different corporate companies. You will also find this patient now in your Patients tab that you can go and have a look at. So, as I said, to confirm the appointment, you click Confirm Patient. At this point, you can also send them various tests. That will be sending an email to them to remind them and give them a link to undertake these tests. And I would advise you to do that. Well, they have to do that for every NHS client, but it's also useful for private clients. So then you confirm the appointment, and it now becomes green. Now, you are able to call the client up to 15 minutes beforehand. So you will not be able to call them now, but in 5 minutes time you will be able to call them, and I will show you. We can have a separate video for how that works.